Welcome to day 16 NBA recap, reaction recap, whatever you want to call it. Actually, it's more of a reaction than anything. We're gonna talk about what happened in the NBA today, playoffs, because that's what we do in these videos. We got first game. I want to talk about the Raptors Celtics. This one was a really classic playoff game. Early on, the Raptors had a early lead. The Raptors pushed the pace a lot more in this game, which is huge because they're a team that likes to play in transition, or they're good when they're in transition. Lowry, I was really impressed with his performance tonight. First, I want to say he played 46 minutes of tonight's game. Now, as a reminder, there's 48 minutes in a basketball game. He had 31 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 56.5% from the field. He was really good in this game. Early on, he was aggressive in this game. I mean, the whole game he was very aggressive. I mean, a lot more in the first half, but he was still aggressive the whole game, which was really impressive about it. I mean, it's impressive if you play 46 minutes anyways, but especially if you're like really aggressive in those 46 minutes. I mean, Nick Nurse, he kind of played a lot of guys, a lot of minutes tonight. I mean, I don't really think it's such a bad idea because, I mean, they didn't win this game. They lost the series. The season's over. OJ Anunoby, he played 45 minutes tonight. He had the game winner. I'll get into like a reaction to that last play. Van Vliet, he had 40 minutes tonight. Siakam had 37. He was a little bit in foul trouble. Maybe the original plan was to play him a little more. He did not have a first half. He had 3 fouls, I want to say, yeah, something like that. Or no, 2 fouls in the first half, and then he had 3 fouls by halftime, or 3 fouls by the third quarter. So actually, he did in the third quarter. He came up huge. He only had 2 points at halftime, and then in the third quarter, he had like 14 or something like that. He finished with 16 points overall, and he shot 30. No, that's his. He shot 40% from the field. He had a pretty bad first half, but I think he kind of rebounded with a good second half. Now we go to the third quarter, or let's go to the fourth actually, because this is where this game gets really interesting. It was tied. It was the Celtics had a 4-point lead, and then Van Vliet had a back-to-back threes to start the quarter, and that's where they took a lead. Then Kemba tied the game. He was great in this fourth quarter as well. Kemba finished with 29 points. Overall, he was really good in this game. He had 17 points in the first quarter. But he was really good in this game. 29 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 60% shooting from the field. Another guy who got off slow in the first quarter, at least, was Tatum. He's been really slow in this series in the first quarter. Overall, he's been really good in this series. He had 15 points tonight, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and he did not shoot well, 27%, 0.8, but that's because he didn't really make a lot of shots in the first quarter. Jaylen Brown, he had 19 points tonight. He had 12 rebounds. He was really good on the defensive end. He had 4 blocks tonight. Most of that was in the first half. He also had 2 assists. And let's go back to the fourth. I got a little sidetracked there. Let's go to the fourth. So, at the fourth, this was really close back and forth. 5 lead changes during the fourth. Really back and forth. I mean, the last minutes of crunch time, they were really good. Now let's go to like the last 5 minutes of the game. Powell would hit a 3 to make it 93-91. And Tatum would tie the game. Tatum, as I said before, he really rebounded from a rough first quarter. I mean, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that's, I don't know, really. But the Celtics actually had an 8-0 run near like the 3-minute mark from the 2-minute mark, something like that, which was huge. And that was kind of where they had this lead. And it really seemed like the Celtics were going to win this game. And then after a Van Vliet 3, he makes the bucket. And then Kemba on the other end, he would go up and he would get a double team as he was driving to the paint, and he would still be able to get to the paint inside to the top of like the paint key, and then he would squeeze a little pass to Theus, who would get a nice layup to take the lead, and there was like 0.5 seconds left on the clock, and I really thought the Celtics had won this one. I mean, I really did. It looked like it was over for the Raptors. And then we get a Kyle Lowry has to inball the ball over a 7'5", a 7'5" Taco Fall, and he has to get the inbound over him. And what would happen here is you would get a pick and roll from Gasol, Gasol would send, or it was near the top of the key or near the paint actually. Gasol would get a pick and roll for Van Vliet, and Van Vliet would go inside and would curl towards the basket or towards where Lowry is, and that would force Theus to go over and actually kind of guard him from that point. And then you would have Gasol, who's rolling to the basket, and Brown would have to hedge over. The Celtics were in a 2-3 zone. I should have said that before, but they were a 2-3 zone. Brown would have to come over and basically guard Gasol, and then OG Anunoby, he was open from 3, and he would hit a shot. It looked like he didn't get off the shot. It was pretty incredible. He had only 0.5 to get off the shot. It was an amazing shot, and that was it. The Raptors are still in the series. They're down 2-1. That's really it. A great play design by Nick Nurse, a great adjustment, and a great execution. I don't know if that's the right word here by the Raptors players to get that play as it was diagrammed in the huddle. And yeah, that's really it for the Raptors Celtics. That's kind of reactions to it. On to the Nuggets Clippers game 1. Clippers Nuggets was a blowout from the second quarter on. The Nuggets, they made it close in the first, and then it was 31-31, and then we went into the second quarter, and the Nuggets shot 23% in the second quarter, and the Clippers made 73% of their shots, and it was a blowout from there on. The Nuggets, they made a little bit of a comeback. They cut it down to 10. Oh no, they cut it down to 16, something like that. From a 22-point lead at halftime in the third quarter, and then the Clippers kind of just took over. They weren't really messing around after they cut it down the lead to a little bit of 16 points. It's hard to beat the Clippers when they're all shooting good from the floor. I don't really think the Nuggets are gonna win a game or more in this series. I think it's going to be a 5-game or 4-game sweep. A couple things the Nuggets can improve on. I do think Jokic should shoot a little more. He only had 14 shots tonight. He only played 29 minutes, so there's kind of that. But I do think he should shoot more, especially because Zubac is on him. He was passing a lot tonight, especially when it was competitive in the first quarter. I do think they should pass more. The Nuggets didn't really shoot well in the second quarter. That kind of blew them out of the water. They missed a lot of threes. They went, they went 25% from 3 tonight, which is not good. Jamal Murray, he did not play well tonight. He had 12 points. Is 33% shooting overall. The Nuggets just didn't play a good game. This is a bad matchup for them. Michael Porter Jr., I don't really think he could play in this series. They had him on Reggie Jackson tonight defensively, which worked kind of, but there's just so many weapons on the Clippers that it's hard for you to have someone who's really, really bad at defense. He's a really good player, and he's just really bad at NBA level defense. That's how I would say about that. He's not trash or everything. I feel like that's kind of annoying when people say, "Oh, that player's trash." Well, they're not trash. They're playing at a really high level. Yeah, I'm kind of stalling. Yeah, I'm going to cut it here. Look, there's not a lot you can talk about this game. This was a blowout from the Clippers from the second quarter on. That's really it. And yeah.